The San Francisco 49ers are entering one of the most fascinating and pivotal stretches of their recent history, and everything happening right now, from draft visits to roster turnover to potential rule changes, points to a franchise that knows its championship window is still open, but also understands it cannot afford to stand still. There's less than a month until the NFL draft, and you can already see the fingerprints of Kyle Shanahan all over the team's approach. The 49ers are not just evaluating talent. They are searching for specific fits, players who can step into a highly specialized offensive and defensive system and elevate it immediately. That starts with one of the most intriguing pre-draft visits so far, Washington wide receiver Denzel Boston. Boston stands at 6'4" and over 210 pounds, and that alone tells you something important. This is not just another slot weapon or gadget player. This is a prototype outside receiver, the kind of physical presence the 49ers have quietly lacked at times in critical moments. His production in 2025, over 800 yards and 11 touchdowns, suggests he's not just a physical specimen, but someone who knows how to translate that size into real impact on the field. And here's where things get interesting. Shanahan's offense has long been built around timing, spacing, and yards after the catch. But in big playoff games, when defenses compress the field and take away the easy throws, you need someone who can win one-on-one on the outside. Boston potentially gives them that dimension. He could become the kind of receiver who forces defenses to rethink how they line up against San Francisco, especially in the red zone. At the same time, the 49ers are clearly doing their homework on a wide range of receiver archetypes. Another name generating serious buzz is Casey Concepcion, a player many analysts are already mocking to San Francisco at pick 27. And while comparisons to Deebo Samuel are being thrown around, that doesn't fully capture what Concepcion brings to the table. This is a receiver who thrives in the intermediate game, which just so happens to be the heartbeat of Shanahan's passing attack. His success rates on digs, curls, and out routes are elite, and that matters more in this system than pure deep speed. What makes him especially intriguing is his ability to beat man coverage consistently, which has been a critical factor in the 49ers' postseason struggles in recent years. If Concepcion is available at 27, the decision becomes philosophical. Do the 49ers double down on their identity, speed, separation, and YAC, or do they pivot slightly towards size and physicality with someone like Boston? That decision could shape the entire offense for the next several seasons. And it's not just wide receiver where the 49ers are doing deep evaluations. They're also exploring backfield depth, bringing in SMU running back TJ Harden. On paper, his numbers don't jump off the page, but the versatility does. Nearly 800 rushing yards, plus contributions in the passing game, signal a player who could fit into the rotational philosophy behind Christian McCaffrey. Because let's be clear, the running back room is quietly undergoing change. With Brian Robinson Jr. expected to move on, the depth behind McCaffrey is now a mix of unproven and developing talent. That creates an opportunity, but also a risk. Shanahan's offense depends heavily on the run game, not just for production, but for deception. Every motion, every play-action fake, every misdirection concept starts with the threat of a consistent ground attack. If that depth falters, the entire offensive structure becomes easier to defend. Now, if there's one area where the 49ers absolutely cannot afford instability, it's the offensive line. And right now, that unit is very much in flux. The departure of Ben Bartch and the decision not to retain Spencer Burford signal a clear shift. Instead of investing heavily in proven veterans, the 49ers are opting for a combination of placeholders and developmental players. The addition of a player like Jones, who has starting experience in a similar offensive system, suggests competence, but not necessarily dominance. And in the NFC, where elite defensive fronts are the norm, good enough on the offensive line can quickly become a liability. This is why prospects like J.C. Davis are so intriguing. He may not be a headline-grabbing pick, but he represents something the 49ers desperately need: stability. A player who can come in, hold his ground, and execute consistently within the system. Whether at tackle or guard, that kind of reliability can be the difference between a clean pocket and a drive-killing sack. And then there's the defensive side of the ball, where players like Aiden Fisher are catching attention. His ability to navigate traffic and shed blockers at the second level speaks to a level of instinct and technique that can't be easily taught. In a defense that relies on speed and pursuit, having a linebacker who can consistently find the ball carrier is invaluable. But beyond personnel, there's another layer to this offseason that could have a massive impact on the 49ers: potential rule changes. Specifically, the proposed adjustment to the PUP list could fundamentally alter how teams manage injured stars. Think about players like George Kittle and Nick Bosa. Both are central to the 49ers' identity, and both have dealt with injuries. Under the current system, a player on the PUP list is essentially removed from team activities for the first month of the season. That isolation can have ripple effects, not just physically, but mentally and strategically. If the new rule passes, allowing players to return to practice after just 2 games, it changes everything. Suddenly, the 49ers can be more flexible, more aggressive, and more strategic in how they handle recovery timelines. It could mean getting key contributors back into the fold sooner, maintaining continuity, and avoiding the slow starts that have occasionally plagued the team. And speaking of starts, the 49ers are about to kick off their season in a way no team ever has before. A Week 1 matchup against the Los Angeles Rams in Melbourne, Australia, is more than just a game. It's a statement. This is the NFL expanding its global footprint, and the 49ers are right at the center of it. But from a football perspective, this creates a unique challenge. Travel, time zones, recovery, these are not minor factors. A slow start in Week 1 can set the tone for the entire season, and the 49ers will need to be sharp from the opening snap. Now right here is where I want to hear from you. If you're building this team at pick 27, are you taking a receiver like Concepcion, going with size like Boston, or addressing the offensive line? Drop your pick in the comments and explain your reasoning, because this is one of those decisions that could define the season. Because when you step back and look at the full picture, the 49ers are balancing 2 timelines at once. They are still very much in win-now mode, with elite talent across the roster and a system that has proven it can compete at the highest level. But they are also laying the groundwork for the next phase, bringing in young players, managing contracts, and adapting to a league that evolves every single year. Every draft visit, every roster move, every rule change, it all connects. This is what separates good teams from great ones: the ability to anticipate, adapt, and execute before the rest of the league catches up. And if the 49ers get this right, if they hit on their draft picks, stabilize the offensive line, and maximize their roster flexibility, they won't just be contenders. They'll be one of the most complete and dangerous teams in the NFL once again. So if you're as locked in on the 49ers as we are, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay with us all season long, because we're breaking down every move, every game, and every turning point as this story unfolds.